All right, and we are live. Yo, what's up, everybody? You're tuning into another episode of XO Podcast with Lizzie Jane, your host. And today we have tech house extraordinaire Kyle Kinch on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on, yo. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. We're from like the same city in Tampa. So I was like, we got to put it on for the ones who are like fighting through this time, coming out on the other end.
Almost definitely.
Oh, definitely. Congratulations on your remix for Duke Dumont. That came out what, like a week, 2 weeks ago?
I honestly don't know because time has moved so fast.
Dude, I literally
that happens.
It feels like the same month is just going over and over and over again. The only difference that I like notice are the decorations in Publix and in our grocery store and like the air getting like 4 degrees cooler. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're coming up on fall. I don't know.
So this is how I figured out it was fall.
Oh boy.
I went to Wawa the other day to get a sandwich. And I saw they had the gobblers. I'm like, oh shit, it's gobbler time? And I'm like, oh, okay, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, you know?
Literally. Yeah. This year has been so weird. What has been like, I know everybody's just gone through it, from the artist side to everyone else in the music industry. What's been something that's been, at the forefront of your mind that's helped you keep pushing through? Because you've been putting out music pretty consistently throughout this time, which is something I think every artist should be doing because it's one of the only real ways to stay relevant right now.
Yeah. Well, initially when, everything went into lockdown, I was pretty set up to have like a pretty crazy year. It was like, right before, I was literally a week away from getting the pretty much closed down space.
Yeah.
For the Gorgon City show. And I was like, the whole time, I'm just reading.
That hurts my heart.
I'm like, okay, our show is not canceled yet. Like, there's a chance.
I remember seeing that rollout of the Miami Music Week stuff because I was booked to play with 12 Planet at Hangar. And then I was booked to play with Snails at Soho Studios. And I just remember starting to see the rollout of shit and I was just like, man, I just kept taking deep breaths. I was like, man, because they were gung-ho. Because you remember when everything started, they're like, Miami Music Week is happening. They're like, it's happening.
They're like, we'll go on without Ultra. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember Ultra. God, it feels so long ago. Doesn't it feel so long ago? Yeah, like it has been long, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like so long.
It's been 3 years.
That's yeah, like. Absolutely. And I just like now our life, like we live in Florida, so it's a little bit different opposed to like California or a state that's still completely shut down. Now, like my life is starting to get a bit busier and I'm like, it feels like time's moving again. It feels like, I'm living my days and stuff because it feels so long, but it feels so short at the same time. And it's just like a mind fuck because your body just gets in this like scheduled routine. And so much of our life is just scheduled around live events or traveling or this and that and release dates. And it's like, even though events have been pushed off, that's not the only part of the industry that's been affected. There have been labels that haven't had the budget to sign new tracks, to promote new tracks. I've seen people's EPs get canceled and it's just like crazy. It's so crazy. But back to Miami, that's insane. But back to Miami. I literally could talk about this for like hours. So you were gonna play Rawsome Records show, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, that was at space on the terrace.
No, so it wasn't on the terrace. It was gonna be
in the side room,
the bottom floor.
Oh, the ground. The ground.
Yeah, the ground. It was we're supposed to play in the ground, and it was gonna be me, Gorgon City, Pax, and I believe the local Duality guys. And I was just like, all those guys, like I got to play with all of them already. I got to play with Pax back when we went into London. They were the homies. They played right after me, and like,
oh my gosh,
the second we were done, like I was done playing and they went on. It was just like the vibe was just so natural and shit. So like, even afterwards, we chopped it up for a while. They're good guys. Local Dialect I got to meet when I played the Rome Party in Brooklyn, and I love their music, man. It's so dreamy and emotional, and it's really good stuff. So just being able to connect with those guys, because before I connected with them just through their music, I got to connect with them as a person. So I was like, this is my party. I was like,
oh my God, yes.
This is my party. Like I'm about to like
How does it feel to like finally be like not kind of like aspiring to or like looking up to these guys, but kind of like standing side by side with them and just getting thrown into that loop. Cause like Gorgon City, like put you the fuck on. Like when I saw that, I was literally like, yes, 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 yes. But it's so cool because they're like legends, you know, they're like pretty up there. And like for you to really get like taken and just be like, cause your music's always has been, you know, top-notch quality, but sometimes it takes that person to recognize you and put you on and kind of make that like sacrifice for the up and coming in the next like decade and generation of the scene. Like it has to be so cool to just be like up there now with them.
It's crazy because like obviously like when you think of it music wise, you're like, man, like I want to get validated. Like I think my stuff's good, but I want to think everybody thinks my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, you know? I feel like that's a general kind of across the board from every producer.
Yeah, pretty much. But like when you start to like, you know, you get to meet these guys, you totally forget that, you know, they all started off as pretty much connoisseurs in the first place.
Absolutely.
So when they're like, yo, we love your music, you start to realize that they just love music in general. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and the fact that they happen to like yours is just, and vice versa, is like, it's just the same feeling, you know.
And it's like good music is good music. Like that's what I feel. And I wish sometimes like the bass scene had more of that because I really, really see it in house music. Like there's very few people who, again, I'm not as integrated into that scene as I am in my own genre, but I feel like there's very few house producers that aren't just like phenomenal once they get like to like a certain level. Like it's just like the energy and just like every like the what you were saying about like the vibes being natural and this being natural. It's like really hard to like, you feel energy on stage from a bass show. Obviously, it's like through the roof, but it's really hard, like collectively, to feel like the same energy from everyone in the room, just like vibing. And that's what I've always loved about house shows because like you can just feel that. Like when I'm at like Space, I think the last time I went to Space was actually last Miami Music Week. I've only done 2 Miami Music Weeks. And I was like, I'm not going until I play, like da-da-da. I'm like stubborn like that. I'm not going to EDC.
No, I feel you 100%.
And yeah, because everybody Lost Lands, like EDC Las Vegas, I'm like, I ain't fucking stepping my ass in that bitch until I'm playing on stage. Because then it's going to be worth it, you know? And then it's like, you know,
it's that accomplishment. It's like, I got here not because I came as a fan. I got here as on my own merit.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what you really, really want, you know?
Oh,
I feel that way about Groove Cruise. Like I've never done one of those cruise festivals.
Did you like that? I've become very close with their team over. So I went to Holy Shit for my 21st birthday, and that shit was fucking wild. I have never experienced something like that in my whole entire life.
Fun.
Like so insane. Fun. But I imagine Groove Cruise to be more house orientated because that was the first year that Holy Ship had kind of switched properties to, I think it became like a lifestyle or Insomniac property because there were bass artists on board and it had never really been like that. Yeah, and that's primarily the reason why I go. That was the first kind of festival that I was introduced to house music, and I was just like, I'm all in. Like, let's go. Yeah. Like, it was so dope. And I imagine Groove Cruise to be kind of like a miniature version of that to an extent, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's very housey, trance, you know, kind of that vibe. But Holy Ship's still got great artists too, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
I know Gorgon was playing
some of the best. Like you usually don't get that many headliners and like historic artists in one place at one time. Yeah. Even on like Insomniac festivals or Disco Donnie festivals, you won't see like, I think the year I went, it was like Cascade, Above and Beyond, Excision, Rez, Mala, Chami, like just insane. You know what I'm saying? But I've become very close with the Groove Cruise. I've done some of their live streams, the virtual sail away.
Yeah.
And that, a couple. Yeah, that shit's like really, really cool. They're raising money for like a really dope cause, but it's caused me and my team to become close with them. So hopefully in the future I will get to, you know, partake in that. And I thought that would be so awesome because that leaves out of Fort Lauderdale, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Somewhere between there and Miami.
Somewhere between there. Yeah.
So
I've actually never been on a cruise. So I want my first
Oh
time to be on a
shit.
cruise
Yeah.
and playing this festival. Like
That
that's
was
how I
holy
roll.
shit for me. Yeah, because I'd never been on a cruise. And my mom's like, you're not going on a cruise. You're going on a party cruise. I was like, okay, all right, mom. But yeah, she was like, you're 21. Like, are you sure you're going to be okay? I'm like, yes, mom, I'm going to be just fine. Da, da, da. It was great. But back to Gorgon City. So how did you kind of tie paths with them? Like, had you been sending them music for a while? Did they reach out to you?
Nah, so it was crazy. It was kind of a complete accident.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah. So it's funny. So I had made the track Manchester,
Mm-hmm.
and
Banger.
and I had been sending it to like every label I can think of, every
Yeah.
single one, and everybody kept denying it, and you know, I didn't, you know, obviously rejection is something you deal with as an artist, you know, but
Absolutely.
like, you know, you
But
don't.
it's still hard. It's still
It's still
hard.
hard.
It doesn't
And
matter how many times it
even now,
happens.
even with everything that I've done now, when I get rejections, it's still hard. So, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. It got to the point where I'd sent it to so many labels at that point, and so many people have rejected it. But I'm talking like upwards of like maybe 40, 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
And
shit. So
I've been
like everything from major labels to like small boutique labels.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been shopping it for about 6, 7 months at that point. And I was like, well, maybe it's just not good enough, you know? But it's funny. What's that book? I can't remember. I can't remember what the book is now.
Oh
I'll
no.
think of it when it comes back.
Okay. Okay.
But
We'll,
like
we'll circle back.
the main thing of it was just like, you know when you're doing stuff, like follow the signs. You know, they'll like the signs will tell you when to do something. You know, and
Yeah,
that'll tell you when to act.
absolutely.
And so what happened was I just got denied. I got really close to signing with I believe it's Criteria, which is Kreider's label.
Okay. Yep.
I got really close to signing it with them. It wasn't quite ready for them, but Kreider's awesome. He still supports all my music. He just supported the new release that came out
Oh, awesome.
yesterday. But and I saw a post on Gorgon City's Facebook that said, "Hey, we're taking in demos for
Let's
our label
go.
realm, you know, send them over." So I'm like, all right. So I compiled 8 tracks that I've had just chilling with Manchester at the lead, and I just sent it. I sent it all to him that night. The second I saw it that night, and I see in my inbox the next morning.
They were quick as hell. Yeah.
Literally the next morning, they're like, "We love all these tracks, man, especially Manchester. Would you want to sign these with us? We're gonna try them out this weekend." I'm like, so when you get the email, like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm jittery, and I'm like,
Oh
wow.
yeah. Isn't it crazy how an email can just like people don't get it. Like I guess people get it because I'm sure it happens in other fields of work, but like an email can change your fucking day, man. Like you literally can wake up and see an email and just be like, holy shit. All right.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I was super excited, and I was like, this is great. And then they're like, we're gonna try these out. We'll reach back to you. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so, you know, but an email is an email. You know,
Correct.
you don't really know people are gonna.
You don't want to be like, oh yeah, until the contract signed, until you got a release date, all that shit. Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
So then I believe about a week later, I get another message in my inbox like, hey man, like we're 100% of these tracks is awesome. You know, also we played in Ibiza this past weekend. Looks like somebody caught a video.
I remember when you posted that video.
Oh my God, that
shit went like pretty viral, to be honest.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, because it's a huge deal. Like that's like as like a house producer to get to play or get your shit played in Ibiza is like top tier.
Full confetti,
yeah,
lights, lasers, everything. And I'm just like, what?
Because then after they started supporting it, it's so like shitty, but it's like when you get one big guy on like the train just starts moving.
Yeah.
And then I remember after that, you had a handful of top tier guys start to play Manchester.
Yeah, it was crazy. It came like Camel Fat was playing it.
Yeah. I'm literally getting chills because it's just crazy, right? It's like crazy.
Yeah. Fisher played it.
Yeah.
That was really crazy. And like it was to the point where there was guys who, you know, I eventually played with like, you know, more recently, you know, down the road, and I finally get to like talk with him, chopped up like Solardo, and I told him like, yeah, you know, I'm Kyle Kinch, you know, I got had a few releases with Gorgon, blah blah blah, and they're like, oh, Manchester, right? They're like, yeah, you're like, yeah,
I
we
know
did listen
exactly
to
who
that.
you're
And
talking about.
I'm like, oh god.
Yeah. Oh, you're like, okay. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so awesome. And like those are all like dons, you know? Like
Mhm.
those are guys who have been around for like decade plus. Like
Yeah.
crazy. Fucking crazy. So I've noticed you do, I assume you don't have an exclusive deal with Realm Records because I've seen you release other places, or are you only releasing with Realm moving forward?
No, I release with everything, but just out of, you know, just, you know, pure just thankfulness and respect for everything that they've done for me. I usually, anytime I make something new,
Send it to them first.
I immediately give it them first. I'm like, hey man, what y'all think about this? You know,
Yeah.
like I want to release with Realm first. You
Yeah.
know, 'cause
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just a
that's
respect thing.
home. You
Yeah.
know, and
Absolutely.
that's how I feel about it. You know, but I mean, and they've given me some of the best hits that I have had. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's so dope when like, because there's so many labels that I see, you know, just release tunes and, you know, either you're a smaller upcoming artist and you don't get the crazy budget behind you that you need, or the contract's fucked, or there's, you know, just so many other artists on the label. And to see like the attention they had given you to pushing your name out there was really, really dope. Cause I feel like that happens very rarely nowadays. Yeah. And it's cool because like they have like within the house genre, there's so many sub genres. And what I really like about house that also happens in bass music is everybody's got their kind of niche, you know, they've got their kind of thing that they like to release. And they kind of stay down that path, like Black Book or Dirty Bird or Confession or stuff like that. And those are obviously some of the bigger ones, but there are like so many awesome like boutique, like smaller up and coming house and bass labels that I feel like have really just like bloomed like during this time. Like, are there any like smaller boutique labels that you worked with prior to Realm or after Realm that you're like fond of?
Yeah. So I obviously this style of house I make, I'm in love with all of it. So, you know, I like doing the, you know, high energy, you know, like prime, you know, terrace tech house stuff. But I
Yeah.
also love doing the really deep, groovy new disco house. And so at the beginning year, the first release of I had this year was on In It Together Records. And
Okay.
that one, like, you know, kind of, it's like, you know, up and coming, like, but it's very groovy house, you know,
Yeah.
all that. And I was really excited to be on that, you know. And then, you know, I got to also be a part of like Sonny Fodera's label, Solar Toto.
Which is dope. That's dope.
Which is great. And it is awesome work with them. Vanilla Ace really took me in, and I've been releasing on his label, Wildcard.
Wild Cards had some crazy releases.
It surprises me every time when I hear something new, because you don't really know what's gonna come out of there. You know,
No.
they
that's
do
what's so
all
exciting sometimes is when they're like all across the board. Yeah,
So
no.
I'm really happy about all the ones I got to work with, and I'm working with some more newer labels in the future too. You know, I've got releases very much set up to the end of the year. So like, it's just, I'm really thankful for the opportunities they're giving me now, because like before, you know, I was always searching for the labels. You know,
isn't it nice to have somebody like reach out to you and be like, yo, homie, you got some tracks?
That's basically what it's been. Basically what it's been. They coming to me now like, hey man, like, we love your music, man. You got anything for us? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, here you go, man.
As a matter of fact, I do.
And that's when you get to start, like, that's like when you make that like transition from having like the bottom hand to the upper hand, it just kind of all starts to flow, and then you get to negotiating, and then you get to doing other shit. But do you work as pretty much like an independent artist right now, or do you have like a manager or?
I let one of my homies manage me. You know, it's a good friend, so you know, he kind of just looks out for me. But
Best
he's
interest.
definitely, yeah.
Important.
One of the old Smokehouse guys, Brandon Sutton.
Oh, perfect. You just tied that in. I was just about to be like, yo, we didn't even talk about like how you started doing this. But okay, tell me about your homie and then we'll go to Smokehouse.
Well, Brandon, it's weird because me and him we kind of started in the same place for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We were both playing at a local club here, The Drink, but
oh, The Drink. Oh my God.
And but we both played the same time slot in different days. I'll play on Thursday, the opening slot, and he play on Friday opening slot. And it's more of a top 40s club, but
it is,
in the opening slot, you're playing house.
Correct.
So our styles of DJing are very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just formed. He started, getting more into the industry and booking artists and stuff like that. So when stuff started to ramp up for me heavy, it was just good to be able to lean on him a little bit for some of the stuff I need and for guidance occasionally.
Yeah.
Because like you can't do this stuff by yourself, man.
You can't. I remember when I thought I could do it by myself. I was so fucking stupid.
And people think it's like people think it's just work related too. It's not all about the work. Sometimes you need somebody to mentally lean on.
Oh my gosh.
Like
this is one of the most mentally draining careers you could pursue, period. But I think it's because there's so much passion behind each individual that decides to pursue a career in this industry. So there's like so much like pain and like mental attachment that comes with it because like you care so much about it. And just it's so fortunate for us to say we get to pursue or do our passion for a living, but it does come with, you're working, you're not working 40 hours a week. You're working more than that, or you have a side job to fuel this, or you're working multiple freelance jobs just to be able to go and play on stage and pay for your flights. And it's like, there's so much work behind the scenes that people don't understand that comes alongside it, but the reward is getting to do what you love. So it's like a balance. But Smokehouse. So tell me like what year Smokehouse was curated and why it was curated, and is this like your first step in the industry? And even tell me what Smokehouse is, because I never even fully understood it. I remember Caro, a good friend of mine, she'd be like, yeah, he was one of the Smokehouse boys. I was like, okay.
It's really funny you asked me this, because I actually explained this to another young DJ recently, just yesterday.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Give him the whole spiel. So
you've got the spiel up to date.
So basically, Smokehouse started as a DJ collective between me, Jared Diaz, which is
Too Kind. Yeah.
Brandon Sutton, my buddy Grant Lee.
Grant, okay.
Yeah, my buddy Casey Gilmore, who's still a major.
He does engineering for night bass and shit.
Not just that. He's my engineer too. I go to him for mixing and mastering, and it's awesome. My buddy Quinn, who now he's out in LA and he's doing mix and mastering for big pop artists and hip hop artists. So he's doing great. Our buddy Big Feta, Demetrius, and I hope I'm not missing anybody because they'll fucking kill me after this.
We'll see. I'll be looking in the comments.
If I forgot any of them, you feel free to give me a tongue lashing after this, and I'll
there we go.
But basically.
So what year? What year was this all started?
I want to say it was 2016, 17.
Okay.
2016. That's when it was. It was 2016, and basically, all of us had our own strengths in the Tampa music scene. Me and Sutton had played basically almost nearly every venue that's been in Tampa. Casey obviously was a master in engineering. Demetrius is really good at producing. Jared really good at producing. Grant, he's got the great musical talent. He plays instruments. And
he plays shit ton of instruments.
Yeah, and so like we had all these talents, but obviously we were masters at our own crafts. But then we didn't really have the help in the other areas we needed. So we kind of just joined together, and we
Mm-hmm.
were like, all right, man, like we're gonna, wherever we have our, weaknesses, we're gonna build each other up. And that was just
Yeah.
the whole startup. So like after the first meeting, the second meeting, we're all in the studio working on music, and this is where I first got to work on producing, like, well, sharing my productions. I
Yeah.
wasn't really good,
No, but it's
but I
like
was
so
messing
fucking
around.
important. Jared is like one of the people who I still send all my shit to because it's so important for having to have that group,
Yeah. And it's like, it sucks too when you're a producer and you're just starting out, because nobody tells you that, like, obviously you love music, so you got a really good ear and you
Yeah.
know what good stuff sounds like. But nobody tells you when you start producing that your stuff's gonna be trash and you're gonna hate it because you know
Yeah.
what good stuff sounds like. So,
Absolutely. You're like, yo, why can't I get this to sound good?
yeah, exactly. So, we started working in the studio, and then it built from there to, hosting our own parties, doing our own charity
Yeah,
events.
the event side of it became a pretty big thing.
Oh, it was huge. We were bringing artists like Justin Martin, Mark Starr, all these guys, and like it really became a movement because, we just had the drive and the
Yeah.
love for it.
Yep.
And
That's what so few people like. So many people have it, but
yeah,
like you very rarely find people who are hard workers and really in it for the music. Like they really just love the music. And there's so many things that come alongside that are bonuses and this and that. But like to find those two qualities as the top two priorities in someone's drive is very rare.
and I think that was the thing that really held us together really well, and what made us push so hard. And the reason why it worked so well then was because when there was a Smokehouse event, we all knew how to blow it up. We all knew how to
Yeah.
get everybody and their family there,
You guys were
and
playing all parts of the wheel.
yeah,
Promoter, talent buyer,
yeah.
opening DJs, all of that stuff. Oh my
Ex-
gosh.
exactly. So that's basically where it went. And now that all of our individual careers are blown up, it's just a testament to how, just getting the right group of guys together can just, help you, whether you needed a lot of help or a little help, that help was necessary.
There's nothing that you're going to lose from something like that. There's no,
Yeah.
negative downfalls that you're going to have from having like a small, strong, like-minded group of individuals.
Oh, 100%.
And it's crazy because it like a lot of people don't understand too, because they sometimes feel like they see like somebody's career take off and they're like, yo, where the fuck did this person come from? They're blowing up. Da da da. But like little do they know they've been doing this for like 10 fucking years. They started as a promoter, they started as this, and then or they started in another field of like music. Like I worked in like metal and post-hardcore for a really long time before I was like, okay, like this is kind of the direction I want to go in. I want to switch my focus over to electronic music. And it's just crazy because so many people just have like the wildest stories, but very rarely do I meet someone who is knowledgeable and experienced at a certain level where they haven't been doing it for 6+ years. Like really hardcore. This is my job. I'm doing it. I'm sacrificing everything.
Yeah. Like I even for me, like before we even started Smokehouse, I'd been DJing for 4 years at that point.
Yeah.
Playing dive bars or even some of the main bars here. And
Yeah.
before I really got to, like, obviously I really wanted to move more into, house and EDM. But like, when you're working for gigs and you just
do it. You do it.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I played house music at Ritz for a year and a half just to get to Fridays. And I love every second of it because it educated me so much and it made me become such a fluent, read the crowd, know your music, selection, everything. Because I have the music theory. I already had all that previous knowledge. Like mixing in key isn't like, oh, I learned how to mix in key, like whatever. Like I can tell what key we're in. But like there's such a craft to DJing. And DJing properly. And without me going through that period of time, kind of like you had to play top 40s or hip hop or, what have you, just to get the gig and play and, kind of slowly move up. I like wouldn't trade it for anything, because that experience will never, like, it'll never be traded.
It's the stuff you learn is just like you're not gonna find that anywhere else. Like
no.
you're not gonna find that anywhere else. Like it's just repetition and playing in places and reading different people and entering different rooms. And it's got to the point where now I'm so comfortable no matter where I go to play, you know, whether it's here across seas or, you know, the other side of country, like anytime I enter a room, I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna get them partying.
Absolutely. And I thank Ritz a lot for that. Really quick, the Ritz is a you know, top tier electronic dance music venue. Also holds other concerts in Tampa, Florida that Kyle and I are residents at. Kyle, you've been a resident there for a year ish.
We might be a year and a half now.
A year and a half. I've been there.
We might be a year and a half now.
I'm 23. When I was 21, the week I turned 21 was the first time I played at Ritz. I remember
crazy weekend.
I remember I walked onto the stage and I was like, yeah, I'm scared shitless, bro. I was like, I don't know if I can press the play button. But it's like that seasoning. It doesn't matter. It's like the more you do something, it's like the stupid X amount of hours to become an expert at something. The more you do something, like, the better you're going to be at it, just period. I've gone from red room to main room to house to techno to finally getting where I wanted to go, because I was, you know, making bass music the whole time. But all of that is like so important, and it's given me the tools, just like, you know, the time at Ritz is a little past your time, because you've already kind of put in that work to where you were seasoned enough to feel comfortable to be on stage when you went other places. But I can't imagine not playing for 4 months and then walking into a venue that I've never been in and been like, yo, like, let's get a mosh pit going. Like, no, like, it's just not something that would be very, very difficult in my opinion. But the Ritz has given me that consistency, not only for income as an artist, which is huge, which a lot of artists don't have.
It is major.
Yeah, which is wonderful. But, you know, not only are you able to test out new music on an incredible system, which a lot of people don't have the privilege to do, you're also there, you know, with a different crowd each week, and you got to please the crowd, and you got to play your music, and then you got to find the happy medium, and it's such a craft, and people at the top still don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's so special when, and there's very few people on, you know, people who have come out of Ritz that I rarely hear don't just have like killer sets. And I just blame that on like consistency. You know, you look at Blunts and Blondes, you look at other people every week, you're doing something different, but you're playing your own songs and you're figuring out, you know, it's putting together a puzzle. But yeah, the Ritz is fucking awesome. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and it's cool because you're now the head resident on Saturdays, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's sick.
I had to play your Friday slot was last week.
Boy, I don't know why they did that. These guys came on, and because I was like, all right, well, they had an album, because I remember I submitted a remix that, you know, politely got turned down to Dimmock, and for their The Universe Is Ours album, it was Infinite Skies or something. And what was their name? Their name wasn't Autograph. Their name was
Arm & Hammer.
Arm & Hammer. There we go. Arm & Hammer. And I remember listening to their album. Their album's like future bass, like kind of bassy, kind of housey, like bass house. And I was like, all right, like, I get it. I get why they switched us, you know, not having the bass night on Friday, but having it on Saturday. And then they come on and they're just like swinging dubstep. And I'm just like, okay, all right.
The whole day I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm about to play on bass night for all these bass kids.
There were so many bass kids there because they didn't know.
Bass artists. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, it's all right. I'm going to do me. And I just started
absolutely.
jamming. And I would say not even 15 minutes in, I see these kids and they're just, yeah.
No, it's literally so important, because I'll look up sometimes, and like sometimes I can't look up because I'm like, you have to, like, you're there for you. You're not there for anyone else. And like, if you fuck with the music you're playing and you're playing your own music, like, that energy that you have from being so fucking stoked that you're playing X track, X new, new music will be contagious to the crowd if you don't let the crowd not digging it kill you. Yeah. And like, it does. Like, if you just push through, you give it 5 minutes and they're like, all right, like, I fuck with this because she fucks with this. But the second you let them affect you, and that goes for like so many other things in life, like being rejected, like doing this. Because I've had things where like I've gotten like a song turned down and I'm like, I fucking suck, dude. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Da, 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 da. But it's, but it's like so important to be like, okay, like, this is one thing. It's one thing. It's one show. Like, everyone has their off days. Everyone has their rejections. And I'm like a firm believer that like everything does happen for a reason. And like trusting the process is so important.
Yeah, 100% is, and that's why when I was playing, like, and I'm usually used to like, before I was playing Ritz, I used to play more intimate venues.
Very small, like,
right
where the energy is just right on you. Kind of like Red Room. Yeah, even like if the stage was on the ground.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But so like crowd energy is one of the number one things for me as a DJ. And I'm very able to tap into it no matter how close or far away I am from the crowd. Mm-hmm. I can usually feel it. And like, even if they're not on my side yet, I know I can get them there.
Yeah. And it's like going in the room with like, okay, however the hell this is going to end up, they're going to end up liking me at the end of this set. Like they're going to dig one part of my set to like make them check me out after this.
Yeah, definitely.
Your Duke Dumont remix. Fucking huge. I know I touched on this in the beginning, but how did that happen? Did you just have the connects to submit it? Did you start it as a bootleg? Did you get sent stems? That's debatably like the biggest release of your career. Like Rawsome Records is huge, but that's like huge.
Oh, definitely. So it started out, well, I'll start from the beginning. Where it really started was Duke came and played at Ritz. And
yes,
obviously Duke's got a great connection with Gorgon City because they have their big track real life, and I love that track personally, and I've always been a Duke fan. So afterwards me and Duke were just chopping it up for a bit, and I was telling him about everything that happened to me in Gorgon City, and he's like, that's great, man, and he urged me to keep in touch. And since then we'd always just been talking to each other for a little bit every now and then, but I didn't really know that he was keeping tabs on me. And then I released my track Siri Stop Playing, the blue one over
there. Yes. Wait, okay, so behind you, are all of those your records, I assume?
Yeah, these are I haven't got all of them.
I see the realm.
I haven't got all of them yet because there's so many.
Yo, I'm literally gonna have your girlfriend make that shit for me. That's like paint on the wall, or is that paint on the records?
No, so it's on the record. It's actually it's the frame. So the frame is painted
dude, that is literally so badass. Watch, you're gonna see me in a month and I'm gonna look just like you behind me. I'm gonna just have the same shit. Or like I really wanna like, cause I have like a bunch of foam. We're like in the process of like kicking all the roommates out. So I'm almost done building my studio over here, but I wanna have like a crazy podcast wall behind me where I like paint it and do some crazy shit, and I'm gonna look at where to get that paint because that would be badass.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yes, please. So okay, Duke, keep talking.
Yeah. So Duke started playing that track consistently, and I was seeing it pop up on Escape from Wonderland
track list shit.
Sets and all these on festival stages and club stages, and he was really just pushing it, and I was so very excited to just see it, getting that much, respect, because that track, like, to be honest, when Siri Stop Playing was so, I made it. It was such a natural, production for me. It made it within, the whole track within almost a day or two. And
sometimes it just like flows. Sometimes you're like, yo, like it just goes.
Everything came together.
Yeah.
And so I was really happy for that track. And then so Duke reaches out to me and he's like, hey man, like I was wondering if you want to remix one of my tracks. And I was like,
oh my God.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No, they
Okay.
asked me twice, and it was one of those things where like the second, you're sometimes you never really imagine things like that are gonna happen, but when it did, I was extremely confident that I was gonna make such a dope track because I just knew
Absolutely.
what
It's like
music
the
was gonna come.
motivation.
Yeah.
I had the release on Subsidia Records, that's Excision's new label,
Yes, I
this
saw
past
that, yo.
Monday, and I literally was like, they were all watching football downstairs. I live with like 3 other boys, and they were watching football downstairs because every other fucking like every other sports is like going on right now. You've got like hockey and then baseball and then
I
football.
need it.
It never ends. It never ends. But I'm sitting here. My boyfriend's like, "Hey, come and watch the game." Like, da-da. I was like Sunday, and I was like, "Nah, I'm writing. I gotta write. I'm doing it. I'm doing it." And I like finished my EP this week, and I was
Yeah,
like done. But it's like sometimes you just need that motivation. It's like having somebody like Duke Dumont come to you and being like, "Yo, you want a remix track?" Like, holy shit. And then you're like, "Yo, I got to make this a banger. Like, I got to make
yeah,
this great."
yeah. So the second I sat down, I already knew which way I was going. I wanted to be really, really dark and groovy. I
Yeah.
wanted to be because his is more like kind of disco, really feelsy.
Did you
I
do like a
wanted mine
key
to be.
change or like a BPM change, or did you just like say, "I'm just going to make this a totally different vibe"?
You know what? Not even. I got the stems and I just started taking some of the bits and pieces I like, but
Mhm.
besides that, I was just putting me in it.
Yeah.
And so I kept just working on it, and I'd say I had a solid good loop because I always start with like when I make a track, I always
I'll do
start
drum
with the
loops.
center. I start with the center first. I start with
Okay.
what's gonna make everybody party.
Yep.
And I had this like
I do
really,
my
really
drop
dope
first.
sounding thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
this really, really dope thing going. I'm like, this sounds great. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is gonna work with the vocal or anything yet because
Oh
I hadn't added it.
no.
So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, hold up. And then I just like I put the vocal on top for a second, and it fit perfectly. I'm like,
Oh.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. You're like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah,
Oh, no. Sometimes it just like fits and it like flows. And it's crazy because a lot of times that happens just in like such a short amount of time. And it's after like 12 hours of working and throwing everything you did away. But yeah, that's me in like a nutshell. I have like some students who I teach like beginner level production classes, and I do like
yeah.
music theory and shit. And and I have a few kids who are like, yeah, like I just want to like sit in and like watch you produce. And I'm just like sitting there for an hour on one sound,
Oh, you
triggering
don't
something,
want to see that.
resampling something. And I'm like, yo, like I literally feel like I just like took your fucking money, bro. Like, I don't know, like I like this is what I do like over and over again. And
Yeah.
half of them sound like fucking shit. But from like a producer standpoint, like do you use a lot of like serum or like VSTs like that, or are you more like sample based?
So I use serum a lot, usually for
Okay.
my bass lines and my leads.
Okay.
I'll occasionally, if I'm looking for like a more natural bass that sounds like like a straight up guitar.
Hmm.
The basic, because I use FL Studio.
Okay.
The FL has a basic little bass line thing called Boo Bass, and it actually sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds very like a very natural like bass guitar. So I'll usually use those for like my disco ones. But in terms for like when I'm making like prime tech, I usually use serum. And
Hmm.
then when it comes for samples, I usually use samples for kind of like effects and ambiance,
Yep.
and maybe occasionally like a few grooves.
Do you do your drums in MIDI, or do you do?
I do a majority of my drums in MIDI, so I'll
Okay.
usually like because I like a lot of weird perks and stuff
Yep.
like that.
So you make
So
like
anytime
drum
you hear,
racks and shit, and you kind of
yeah,
put everything in. Yeah, that's
yeah. So
lit.
anytime you hear all that weird shit, that's me just working in a drum rack really heavy.
Yeah.
You
No, it's
know?
the best. It's like honestly like such a more efficient way. I don't really know how it's done in FL. I work in Ableton, but
Mm,
whenever I go to like if I'm working on something a little bit trappier or like a little bit more technical, like technical bass dubstep stuff, I'll
mm,
do all of my percussion in a drum rack, and it
yeah,
just makes life so easy cuz you
yeah.
just
It's
kind of put everything together, see how it sounds together.
it almost feels like you're playing it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're just messing around, you're just going in.
Did you ever play like any instruments, or were you just like, nah, I'm going to pick up the computer?
My saxophone is in my closet.
Oh, that's lit. Okay.
Looking at it right
No,
now.
literally my guitar is like in the case in the garage and I haven't taken it out in forever. However, I have a dope new studio desk coming in for the room,
Yeah.
and then I'll be able to have my keyboard in front of me. So that'll be lit. That'll be like a lot better. But yeah,
I did piano for a little bit. So like
okay.
My piano skills are what really helps me make, those leads. And
I feel like if anybody who wants to be like an aspiring producer, if anybody should pick up any instrument, it should be the piano out of most anything, I think.
They don't even have to really learn. They just gotta understand music theory. They just gotta understand like
music theory is so huge, dude. It gives such I know it's a bitch. Like I know it's a bitch. Like it sucks. But like I have like the scales and shit like pulled up on my phone in front of me. That's what I tell all my like students. I'm just like you don't gotta memorize it. Like we live in like the 21st century. Like you have your phone, you have this, you have that, but like the more you do it, it's just kind of like having a producer's ear. You'll have a music ear, and you'll be able to tell what's in key, what's out of key, how like relative keys can work towards your advantage, and all of and chord stacking, which I feel like is so important in house, understanding what key you're in. And it is in dubstep too for like synths and other breaks in the song. But I always tell like my kids like, yo, if you can like just take some time out of your day every other day to just look at some music theory stuff and go through some basic handouts, like that's going to make a world of difference for you down the line.
Something I didn't realize that was apparently it's an underrated skill is knowing how to read sheet music. I realized some of my friends and producers don't know how to do that, and like that's fine, but like there's sometimes it just makes it so easy. So like perfect example, one of the new tracks I'm making, I really wanted to use the bass line from Hella Good, no doubt, Hella Good.
Oh, and shit. So okay.
I just looked up the sheet music.
The sheet music.
There's all the notes right there.
And you're literally like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah. And then I can just straight up play it in whatever VST that I need, and it's just done right there, And
so like, that's so difficult for people who don't know how to read it, So it's like taking that time, I feel like, can just make your overall process so much more efficient. Just having that understanding, because it's frustrating. Music is frustrating. Like none of this shit happens like quickly,
If it was easy, man. There'd be so many producers out here,
Correct.
Yeah, it's not easy. But so back to my process with Duke.
Yes, yeah. Oh shit, yeah. So, we just keep going left, right. All right.
No, that's fine. I like it. We're having a conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I really wanted to go for like that 4 a.m. warehouse vibe. So I was just like getting the grimiest, darkest sounds I could find.
Yeah.
So that could really counter, how happy and like dreamy Duke's was.
Yeah.
And they just end up fitting together like just perfectly, just like good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just
yes. I'm a peanut butter connoisseur.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then so I showed it. I was in at this point I was in lockdown. I was in lockdown with my girlfriend, and I showed it to her, and she was like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, "I know."
Yeah, I know. I love those moments where you're like, they don't really understand the process. Like I'll get super stoked over a sound, and I'll be like, "Wes, come here, listen to this," and I'll be like, that sounds cool. like I don't really know. Like show me in like a few weeks. I was like, all right. And then I'll show it to him and I'll be like, holy shit. Like when you get somebody who's not really too into music, but they know what good music is.
Yeah.
And like it's a great person to have the significant other or best friend who's not necessarily like a producer, but they're listening as a connoisseur be like, yo, that's it.
You're getting the consumer, viewpoint,
Which is so important. Huge, debatably more important than any producers.
Oh, we're not making music for other producers.
Yeah, correct. I always love the guys who like stand in the middle of the crowd and they just like look at you like their cat died, and like they're just like, oh, what's he doing? Like, is he really playing? Like, is the beat match synced? Like what's going on? Like, oh, that was a bad transition. He didn't take out his lows.
They got a notepad over there, like
yeah, literally notepad in the
mixer a
club.
little too high.
Yeah. love those people. But okay, so when you submitted it, did he just love it, or did he have any corrections, or did he have any like?
It was like they were like, wow, this was great. And initially when Duke gave it to me, he was like, just do you, man, don't worry about
catering to us, like whatever. Yeah.
Just do you. And like that's what I did. I did me heavy, and they were all about it. And so and then they were like, all right, it's gonna be released in like in like a couple months. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm not telling a soul.
Yeah, I'm not telling anyone. Yeah, when you get that, it's like almost having like a, I don't know, I can't think of like a good analogy, but it's like a secret in like the closet, and like nobody can open the closet, but like it's there, and you're like, fuck, like that. Like I've had things like under wraps sometimes, and I'm like, do I tell my boyfriend? Like, well, my roommate's here. Like, I don't know. Like, do I just keep it to myself? Yeah. It's like the United States is like, gonna go down in shambles, and you're the only one who knows how to solve it. Like that's exactly, like whatever. But yeah, no, I feel like very few people have like really taken advantage of like quarantine, and like I definitely feel like long term those people are gonna kind of come out on top. And as from like the up and comer standpoint, I don't know like what your opinion is in kind of like your side of the industry, but I really, really, really solely believe, and I see agencies doing it too, that real musicians and producers are really gonna start to be pushed on these lineups after this. I don't know.
I really think that's gonna be the case too, and I think it's the good thing that's come out of this is that everybody's took a step back and could focus on making music that they love, because I feel like when you're playing gigs weekly,
and not just bangers, not just club bangers, people are actually making cohesive music, and I feel like that's even potentially more prominent in my genre than your genre, because you'll have kids who like don't even put like vocals or anything in the track, and it's just like the drop hits at like 24 bars, like 30 seconds into the song, but it's like a bang and drop, and like the purpose of that is to be played in a club, but it's a drop song. But now it's like everyone's at home, and even on live streams, hearing crazy heavy shit, just it doesn't hit the same because the energy's not there and all of that stuff, and people want to hear like cohesive bodies of music from like beginning to like outro.
100%. And I feel like people really get to experiment now.
Yeah.
They get to really.
You're going to get really cool shit coming out of this. We've gotten some of the most forward thinking bass music I've heard since I've like kind of dove into the scene in these past 4 months. Just kids doing like crazy shit, which is great.
Two of my favorite tracks that are probably going to be all time have come out during this quarantine.
Who is it? And what are they?
I'm talking about. I would say they're both tied for first right now, but one of them is "Off My Mind" by Matt.Joe, which I actually got to meet them a while ago. I'm sure they don't remember because it was after like a 16-hour Miami Music Week party.
Oh, holy shit!
It's just so good. It just sounds like an 80s workout video, and I love that shit.
Oh my God.
That's the shit. That's the kind of shit that I'm just all about. And it's to the point where like if you catch me playing like a longer set where I could really reach the full range of everything I'm doing, you'll hear me drop that track towards the end, and everybody feel it, and I'm out here pulling Michael moves as it's playing. It just vibes. And then the second one is, it just recently came out, I say about 2 weeks ago. It's called "Set Me Free" by these guys named Mar. And like I heard the track initially on the Tomorrowland live stream. It was the virtual festival, which was amazing, by the way. That's how virtual festivals should be done.
Absolutely.
But they played Solardo played it, and they were just playing like all unreleased music. And I heard that song, and like I found myself singing it weeks and weeks afterwards, because
I have to check it out.
So unique.
I have to check it out. Yeah, what is the song called?
"Set Me Free."
"Set Me Free" by Mars.
No, set you free. My bad.
Set You Free
by Mar. Yeah, Maur Mar.
Mar. Okay,
it's so
dope.
good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
if you come out tonight, I'll play it. I promise.
Oh man. Oh, you're trying to convince. Who's playing tonight? Yokai.
Yokai,
Orlando boys. Yeah, they're dope.
Yeah.
They're cool. I've seen them at some after parties. That backyard that has the fucking plane in it, the plane stage.
Yeah.
You ever been there? I remember being there sometimes like 7 a.m. and I'm like, these guys are killing it. And they're just on the plane playing on the lake. Whatever.
Yeah.
Orlando's crazy. Orlando has, a special spot in my heart, period.
Yes.
I like Tampa though. I fuck with Tampa for sure. So what's for the future? If you were to give us one thing to look forward to, what would it be?
I mean, obviously releasing more music, but I feel like that's a given because that's all I've done.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have like an EP in the works? Do you have like?
So I have an EP coming out next month.
Ooh, okay.
It's coming out on one of those newer labels I was talking about, and I just got a bunch of more releases coming out, and I'm making new music every day. So and all just wild sound and stuff. So I'm just really glad that I get to explore, my musicality and just doing.
It's like the silver lining kind of in quarantine because I feel like a lot of this and a lot of the exploration would not have been done if we weren't to go through this.
No, 100%. Everything happens for a reason. It's a terrible thing that people have to go through. But it's in the end, like we're all in the same boat.
We are. Oh, we definitely are. And we'll all get through it. This shit's going to pass over. It will pass over. It's not, it might be a little weird for a while. You're definitely going to potentially see masks everywhere for a long ass time. Not required, but you'll see people wearing them and stuff. And, people in China, I mean, granted, China is different than America. They've been wearing masks for so long. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're being a little bit conscious of your health or you have certain health issues that need to be paid attention to. But besides that, I mean, you already said Florida said fuck it. They're like, whatever, like let's go, like
open the floodgates.
Let it open. Literally, I'm like a really big fan of Joe Rogan, and he had a guest on his show the other day, and the guest was like, Florida was like closed long enough for people to get sober, and then they just opened up again. It was like they were closed for a bad hangover, and then they just opened up again, and they're like, let's just go. Because you've got these like quote unquote not real, but like refugees coming from the closed states to Texas and Florida, and that's why our market's so high because people are just like, fuck it, man.
Fuck it.
I think we have fans at our football game this Sunday. Like I think they're legit having fans.
Yeah, man.
Fucking crazy.
Whatever, man. I can't say, I'm worried because I just want, generally everybody to be as safe as possible.
Absolutely.
At the same time, like I can't really pass up playing, like it's being able to just have.
It's addictive. It's an addiction. It is. Literally, like I was going through some shit like June to August. My boyfriend was like, look, I get you're like healthy as fuck and like you do the right things, but like you have an addiction to being on stage. Like it's not something you asked for, but it's just something that you have. And he's like so right. Like it's so true. Like that feeling when you get on stage, like unless you've been there and done it, you don't know what that feels like. It's very unmatchable when like this is like the thing that you would like pretty much die for.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for me, it's just getting up and dancing,
right?
You can dance in your house, but like dancing with the music all around you,
and you're like a conductor, like you like conduct how people who are spending their like hard-earned money get to have fun, and you like determine whether that fun is like crazy or high energy or angry or mad or whatever, and it's like it's fucking dope. Like it's super super cool.
I love it. And I just when getting the chance to be able to play again is just awesome, and being able to like before test out all these new tracks I've been making and see how people vibe to them.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, I want to say thank you so much, Kyle, for coming on
Yeah.
EXO Podcast. I greatly appreciate you. I'm so fucking excited for your future. Everyone, please stream his new remix for Duke Dumont, as well as the new EP next month. Fucking so dope. Thank you, Kyle. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yes, most definitely.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.